Contact the river, feel the prison rise. SGV and favorite truth unties. Voices collide, beat drops to the flow. Brace yourself, the vibes about to roll. Male and female voices weave the tale. Hip-hop fire on the sonic trail. For the seekers of truth, let the faith ignite. Hits rhythm and reason, bringing day to night.
What's up, my people? KGB of Faith in the building. Rhythms and Reason. Hey, yo, I told y'all I was going to come back with another episode. Could have supposed to been a 3-stack. Know what I mean? But I ain't want the other one to stretch out too long. You know what I'm saying? So right now, tonight, Friday night, we going to check out We Love Hip Hop Network. Check them out. Like and subscribe to their channel. They have dope content. And it's crazy story of Belly and XO, Canada's biggest before Drake. You know what I'm saying? We're going to pop up with that and see which really was like. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it in.
A lot of people think of Drake, Justin Bieber, and The Weeknd when it comes to the biggest artists to come out of Canada. But for some reason, Belly is not mentioned as much when it comes to our Canadian accomplishments.
Couple of nominations, not only Best Rap Recording, but also Best New Artist.
Coming from a city 600 kilometers down the road from Toronto, Canada's most popular city, Belly's story is one of overcoming obstacles, stereotypes, and fighting the justice system, as well as being the pen behind the world's biggest pop stars like The Weeknd and Beyonce.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you.
Belly was walking red carpets in the early 2000s before Drake and The Weeknd, rebelling against the Canadian government and linking up with Jay-Z and Roc Nation to become one of the game's most coveted ghostwriters. Today, we're going to get into the story of Belly and how he started the label that we now know as XO.
What's up? Welcome to Developer Semicolon. In today's video, I'll teach you how to animate elements.
Please make sure to smash that like, subscribe or you're dissing, and comment below and let me know what you think about this untold Canadian story.
So Hip Hop Network is DJ Friday shit. He cool. I think he a little biased when it comes to Drake and all that, but he cool, you know what I'm saying?
Ahmad Balshi, aka Rebellious, aka Belly, was born in Jenin, Palestine in 1984. At 7 years old, he moved to Ottawa, Canada, our nation's capital, with his mother and older brother to escape the poverty and the violence going on in Palestine. His father, who was in Ottawa for a few years before that, laid the groundwork for Belly and his mother to be able to escape the war-torn country, and that they did through the way of Saudi Arabia, Lebanon, and Jordan before arriving in Canada. Belly started life in a lower middle-class neighborhood in Ottawa in a region called Nepean with his mother, father, and older brother, and eventually a younger brother. His father did lay the groundwork, and though it's not clear what his occupation was, he eventually went on to owning a few Subway sandwich franchises. There is little to no information on Belly's mother that I can find, even through lyrical research. One thing's for sure, Belly kept his family life very low-key. At a young age, Belly was already into music with influences from his uncles back home in Palestine who had musical talent. But it would be his move to Canada and his grasp of the English language that drew him to rap music and the complex use of the English language and slang. Belly also drew inspiration from multiple genres growing up, loving music from Kurt Cobain to Notorious B.I.G.
I came up in the golden era, what I consider the golden era of rap. You know, it's when you had classic albums dropping. You had Biggie, you had Pac, Jay-Z, Big Pun. You know what I mean? You had everybody doing what they do.
He grew up with two brothers, one older and one younger, and from my research, I found out his younger brother was also a rapper. By the time he was 13, Belly was dabbling with rap, recording a couple of tracks.
When I was like maybe 11 years old, man, 10 years old, I started just rapping. You know, I just wanted to do what I was hearing. I wanted to make it a possibility, you know, so I just started rapping. Eventually, I started recording songs at home on a little home computer, you know, and then I started getting the buzz in my neighborhood. Everybody was going crazy.
But at age 15, the link with local entrepreneur Tony Sal is when Belly's rap journey really began. Tony Sal, also known as Wasim Joseph Slaby, was born in Lebanon November 16, 1979. Sal was born in Lebanon during a turbulent period marked by the Lebanese Civil War. He lost his father at a young age, and in 1996, at 15 years old, he fled the country alone seeking safety. His journey took him from Lebanon to Cyprus, then Germany, before he finally settled in Canada. He initially moved to Montreal, later moving to Ottawa in his late teens, and eventually establishing himself in Toronto. His early years in Canada were marked by his entrepreneurial hustle. At 15, he convinced a friend's mother to let him use a close family restaurant space, which he renovated into a venue for high school parties, with himself as the in-house DJ, DJ Slaby. Sal's music career really began in 2002 when he met Belly freestyling on the Ottawa streets. Inspired, Sal started managing Belly and co-founded Capital Profit Records, later renamed CP Music Group.
Tony Sal, man. Tony Sal. That's, if y'all don't know, that's the CEO of Capital Profit Records. You know what I'm saying? Tony Sal was like, when I was in the hood, you know what I'm saying, doing all that type of stupid, getting killed, put in jail and all that, he came and scooped me up, young, you know what I'm saying, 15 years old. Took me off the street, put me in the studio.
As you can see, his life is very different from Drake's. You know what I'm saying? I respect this dude like, okay, it ain't just because you're from the hood, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just feel like you only can speak or spit about certain things that you could relate to or that you was a part of. But when you do that shit like, and you like some bubblegum ass nigga, then that's like, why are you spitting rhymes like that again? Like, what's the point? Talking about trap houses and all that niggas and shit you never been in?
I had that experience. That's why I could just go in and one take my shit.
Sal also brought on Amir Cash Esmilian, a friend of Belly, as the head of street promotions. As far as Cash started off as an assistant for Sal when CP Records first started, but that quickly changed. Amir Esmilian, aka Cash XO, was born December 28, 1983 in Tehran, Iran during the Iran-Iraq War. In 1988, at age 5, his family fled the conflict to emigrate to Ottawa, Canada, seeking safety. Cash grew up in Ottawa's Nepean area, living right next to Belly. As a teenager, the two frequently visited local recording studios, fostering Cash's early passion for music, despite not being a musician himself. Studios like Swap, Smoke Weed, and Press Play Studio, with Goggs and Chrome as engineers, Belly would do a lot of his early recordings there. Cash was drawn to the creative environment, hanging out with rappers, producers, and engineers, which shaped his future career. Esmilian earned the nickname Cash as a child, given by his lifelong friend and future EXO affiliate, Hawk Marley. At 12 years old, he took his first job assembling Canadian Football League, or CFL, trading cards in the basement for Jago, a company owned by a friend's father, to earn holiday money. He attended Meadowville High School in Ottawa, graduating in the early 2000s. His entrepreneurial streak showed early. As a teen, he traveled to New York City to buy a unique colored hat unavailable in Canada, reflecting his interest in fashion and commerce. That brings us to 2002. At 19, Cash began working as head of street promotion for Capital Profits Records, as previously mentioned.
We don't even have any of that anymore. That was the good old days, man. Remember that? We had street teams putting up posters, giving out mixtapes, all type of stuff. All the good shit we had, niggas don't even do no more. I think we need to go back in that direction, just like I said about CDs and records, vinyls, you know what I'm saying? 45, whatever. We need to go back to that. Because the streaming shit ain't working. You know what I'm saying? New York right now is working on the law to get you penny per stream, you know what I'm saying? A penny per stream instead of fractions of a penny, you know what I'm saying? So that means at a fraction of a penny with Spotify, let's see, 1 million streams would be like $4,000. But if this law passed, you know what I'm saying? If the president signed this into law, artists will be able to get a living wage, and it'll be 14. It'll go from 4,000, shoot up to 14,000. Yeah, we need that, yo. I need some of that cheese on my cracker. How about y'all? You know what I'm saying? Because they right now, they just making all this money off us. If you really think about it, and I'll be like, am I bugging, or are people just scary? These niggas, Spotify, all of them, and UMG got their hands in the pot too. They can say all the shit they want. They got their hands in the pot. They making all this money off of podcasters and rappers. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're not up there like that, if you getting some type of stream, they making money off of you. Don't let them freaking bullshit you, hoodwink you. For real, for real.
That same year, Belly signed to the label, and Cash's role evolved to grassroots marketing. By 2003, Cash started traveling with Dipset rapper Joel Santana on tour, gaining experience in the music industry. In 2007,
Harlem, that's where I'm from.
Cash moved to Florida to expand his reach for his co-management of Belly, aiming to break him into the club scene, marking his first significant step into artist management. Getting back to Belly and CP Records, radio stations like Hot 88.9 FM, Ottawa's first hip-hop and R&B station, is where Belly would get his first spins. DJs like Kenny B and Scott Boogie really helped to push the CP brand in Ottawa, as well as other Ottawa rappers like Deuce Deuce and Harvey Stripes. Besides Belly, CP Records also signed singer Masari and later on pop singer Danny Fernandez.
About to meet North America's hottest rapper. His name is Belly. Come check it out. So talk about your new single.
Not hating. Did he say North America's hottest rapper? Because he do know North America is America too, right? It ain't just Canada. So I don't know why you would say the hottest rapper, North America's hottest rapper, like Canada's the only place, because there's people way hotter than Belly, and they not in Canada. So I find that a little distasteful and disrespectful.
Go Hot Girl.
The Healer, who's like one of the top producers out here, The Healer brought me this beat, and it was exactly just like that with the sample and everything.
With a tight roster, CP Records was taking over the Canadian urban music scene. Between Belly Masari and Danny Fernandez, the music videos were extravagant and on the same level of rappers on major labels.
Whether you're a team of one or a full crew, I'm going to show you exactly how to create scroll-stopping TikTok ads in under 15 minutes.
Masadi's getting in the Maserati. Everybody I work with, from RT's crew to...
I would never buy Maserati. I got friends that work with Maserati, and they say they are a piece of car. So I thought I wanted one. You know, that's before I was educated about all that. You know, it's a fine piece of art when it comes to a car. You know what I'm saying? It's nice. But then he was like, nah, you don't want that. And it was the people that actually worked at Maserati that told me that. I was like, damn, you showing me love by saving me from buying a headache, you know what I mean? One of my friends do own a Maserati, though. I was like, nah, not me. I like Porsches and Alfa Romeos and all that type of shit. That's what I like.
Capital Buffer Records crew. It was an amazing experience.
Just to touch on Masari's life quickly, Masari, real name Sari Aboud, got the stage name Masari as the translation for money in Arabic. He was born December 10th, 1980 in Beirut, Lebanon, during a period of civil unrest.
Your interviews, you said the songs were never supposed to leave Canada, and they did. So it must be overwhelming, especially for those who didn't know you were born there also.
Yeah, you know, you can imagine the feeling of landing in Beirut, Lebanon for the first time. Coming back as, you know, I left as Sari Aboud and coming back as Masari.
To escape the conflict, his family immigrated to Montreal, Quebec when he was around 10, 11 years old. At age 13, he moved with his family to Ottawa, Ontario, where he also settled in the Nepean area and attended Hillcrest High School. Masari's passion for music emerged early. At age 13, he performed at a school talent show, which sparked his desire to pursue music professionally.
My whole journey started, I was very young, actually. I think I was 13 years old when I had my first performance. I felt like I wanted to show the world that, hey, maybe I can do this. I got up on stage and they started playing the song. As soon as the song starts playing, I realized that they didn't get me the instrumental to the song. And at this point, this is the first time I've ever stepped on stage. What did I get myself into? So I decided, okay, this is not happening. I get backstage and I tell them, just cut the music. I came back out and did the whole song a cappella.
He's also a trilingual artist, fluent in English, Arabic, and French. Masari developed a unique sound that reflected his cultural roots. Masari began his professional music career in 2001-2002, adopting the stage name Masari, a nod to his first name Sari, and as mentioned, the Arabic slang for the word money.
So, why did you pick the name
Masari?
Yeah.
First of all, because I wanted to pick a name that was Arabic to show my diversity and the support for the Arab and Lebanese community, of course. I'm very proud to be Lebanese Canadian. And at the same time, it hadn't been done before. And everybody who's from an Arabic background will know what Masari means. Everybody knows what it means. And in the English language, it's money.
In 2002, he released his debut single, Spitfire, which gained significant airplay on Ottawa's Hot 89.9 radio station, marking his first local success. The song's rotation on local radio helped him to build a fan base and laid the foundations for his career. In 2005, after 3 years of refining his sound, Masari signed to CP Records with childhood neighbor Belly, and CP was officially on their way to the top.
Good, kill the engine.
The ladies, there's such positive energy that I get off of women that it's indescribable.
Now, a lot of people wonder where Capital Profits got their initial startup money. Rumor has it that they were funded by Canadian boxer turned entrepreneur turned inmate Ryan O'Connor. According to sources from Ottawa Business Journal, Ryan O'Connor is described as a boxer turned businessman who founded eBlock online car auction platform and later unreserved a prop tech venture for real estate auctions. He attempted to qualify for Canada's boxing team for the 2000 Games in Sydney, but did not succeed. However, these sources do not specify whether he was a professional or amateur boxer, but his attempt to make the Olympic team suggests an amateur background. There's no detailed boxing records such as specific fights or achievements, and his current prominence is tied to his entrepreneurial ventures rather than the boxing. There is also mention that Ryan O'Connor was involved in a high-profile incident in Ottawa in 2009, where he, as the former president of a used car company, Find a Car, pleaded guilty to fraud in a Kingston court. It is also rumored that he was involved in a high-speed chase to evade police, but this story cannot be confirmed. Now, in the early 2000s, Capitol Records was running things, and their marketing was like nothing anyone ever seen.
I don't even hear nothing about Capitol Records no more. Capitol Records, Sleeping Bag, Tommy Boy, Loud. Oh my God, there was so many dope labels. Like, it was like, wow, Cold Chillin', you know what I'm saying? So many labels, yo.
I personally remember going to hip-hop clothing store Platinum World in downtown Toronto and getting a free Belly mixtape when making a purchase of over $100. Belly, Masari, and Danny Fernandez were getting heavy rotation all over Canadian commercial radio, as well as their videos playing on Much Music. Much Music being the equivalent to MTV in the US.
So how cool is it to have this out in stores today?
This is crazy for me. This is the first album, a long time coming. So, you know, it's finally in stores now. Everybody go out and get it. And that's what it is. Yeah.
Do you want to set it up at all? Is there anything you have to say, or should we just take a look at it?
Yeah, I mean, I almost got eaten by a tiger shooting this video.
What do you mean?
So, yeah, for real.
How?
Because I had a live tiger in front of me, you know, and I had him on a leash.
They were also getting played on college radio, including Project Bounce. Project Bounce was an uncut alternative to commercial radio that was on an FM feed from the University of Toronto, or UFT, on 89.5 FM. The show would run 7 nights a week from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. and would have various radio shows, DJs, and animated hosts to keep the listeners engaged. This would be a source for exclusives and more grittier Belly songs that not everyone was happy with. If you were around those times, then you were aware of the sentiment that a lot of street rappers had for Belly in Toronto. They hated him. The main point of contention was whether Belly was living his raps. The braggadocious stories of money and girls and rolling with the goons didn't sit right with a lot of Toronto rappers.
Okay, so we know you're gonna watch this demo at double speed. All software engineers do. Buckle up, we're keeping it quick. Here are 5
Let's go. My music here is number 1 on the blocks. Other niggas they rap, but they ain't coming as hot. And really it doesn't come as a shock. If you don't know Belly, then you must be living under a rock. You can come with a 9, you can come with a Glock. Guaranteed you won't leave unless you're stuffed in a box.
People question Belly's back.
I see you shining, Belly. I see you shining, Belly. You know what I'm saying? That sound like real street hip hop to me. That don't sound like that drizzle cake shit, you know what I'm saying?
Background, and there was rumors that he came from money because his father owned a line of Subway sandwich franchises. The fact that Belly and his CP team were walking red carpets at Canadian award shows and big events right off the bat helped fuel the hate even more. It would be at a celebration for Belly where things got messy.
Kazi, yo, I want my money today, not tomorrow, today. You know what I mean? Anything can happen today. You could live, you could get $1 million today, or you could die today.
Kamikaze is a Toronto street rapper from the city's West End with alleged ties to the Vaughan and Oakwood Blood Gang. Kama had expressed his grievances with Belly and his image on multiple songs, as well as call-ins to Project Bounce.
As well to, you know, see the man who says he's the godfather of Canada, you know what I'm saying? So I came through, you know what I'm saying, and then after I seen Krupp, like I said, talking to Krupp, Belly was right there across from me, you know what I'm saying? So I said, yo, I have a question to ask this man because everybody be asking, and I ask myself, like, how is he the godfather of Canadian hip-hop?
It would be at Belly's album release party where Kamikaze and his crew would confront Belly to ask him what he meant by saying he is the godfather of Canada. This is the incident where Kamikaze's chain would get snatched and tensions were starting to grow in the streets between both crews.
Yourself to be the godfather of Canadian hip hop. You know what I mean? What gives you that title? You know what I mean? His response to that was he beat a $60 million case. So I was like, so that qualifies you to be the godfather of Canadian hip hop? You beat a case? And he's like, oh, look at all what I've done. And that was it there. And I said, all right, I left him. I seen him get a little flustered, you know what I mean? So I left him alone. Cool. When I went back now, I started having...
Come on, man. You sound you nitpicking, yo. Real talk, yo. Hey, this is hip-hop. Hip-hop is a sport. That's why K-Dot be like, y'all niggas ain't... I mean, he wasn't really talking about y'all. He's talking about Drake people. But some of y'all ain't like us hip-hop, real hip-hop heads, yo. It's a sport, yo. If a nigga do that, you pull up and you spit what you spit. And you take it from there. To do any other shit is kind of not manly to me, yo. I don't respect that shit.
Drinks with my man, a couple girls came and check us and whatever, we're there having drinks. One of the men when I had a conversation with what I don't know, came in trying to walk through where we were standing. You know what I'm saying? We're standing there, it's not a place you could pass. It's by the bar. I don't know where we was going. You know what I'm saying? So he's trying to push through. I don't know. To me, it seemed like he was drinking a little bit or something. So the niggas just pushed him off like, you can't come through here. You know what I'm saying? He tried again. They pushed him off. You can't come through here. And turned around. The man put his head down like a bull. I don't know what happened to him. He turned into, you know what I mean, Red Bull or some shit. And he tried to bull his way through it. Maybe he had too much Red Bull that night and vodka or something in his blood. But he put his head down and tried to run through the man them. So that time things like went a little bit haywire. Before he could turn around, about 10 bouncers came running through. You know what I'm saying? In the whole thing, the bouncers came running through targeting us because it's his party. 6 of my homies is out on the patio and it's just me and about 4 homies right there and they targeted us now. So now, rather than we're going to attack this man and see what he's really dealing with, but we end up in fighting with bouncers now. And in the fighting with bouncers, I got like 2-3 bouncers on me. All I feel is my chain going down. Wow. I'm feeling my neck going down, but I can't even see or to see what's going on. Next thing my chain popped. When I tell the homies my chain popped, things went haywire.
Belly wasn't going to take this disrespect lightly, and the tension grew in the streets with the two rappers' respective crews out looking for each other. To add insult to injury, Kamikaze went as far as to get a Greyhound bus wrapped with Belly's most recent logo for his latest album, The Revolution, and changed the name Belly to Smelly and had it added to the floats in that year's Caravana.
Well, Caravana, we had our tour bus, we were promoting our stuff, Mac, the label, the Mac.com, all of that. But then after we came up with a tour bus, wrapped the tour bus, had the Smelly bar moving on the back of the tour bus, promoting the people coming and the seats coming. That's what it was. We did in the Caravana. We had fun for the summer.
I remember seeing the bus cruising slowly down the lake shore, thinking to myself, damn, this done went way too far. With all the disrespect and the tension going on, Belly decided to take it to the booth and flip the whole narrative with the song Smelly.
Have you heard of life insurance with living benefits? This type of life insurance policy pays out tax-free cash while you are still alive. If you need long-term care, become disabled, and are unable to work, as well as giving your loved ones the same protection as traditional life insurance policy.
My bad. I don't know why that happened.
Smelling like $1 million drop from the sky. If you smell money, it smell like Belly. That motherfucking kush I smoke is so smelly.
2007 was a hot year for CP Records, maybe a little too hot because Nasari decided to leave the label and sign directly to Universal Music Canada.
And so as soon as we went to strike a deal with Universal, it was almost like it was them trying to strike a deal with us, and which was very, very rewarding.
And you were on their radar.
Yeah, definitely, because I did a whole Pepsi campaign with in North Africa, Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria, and in Egypt, and it's like to them they don't see that very often. So, and at the same time, I could have came back and tried to do this whole thing on my own, because since I left my old label, I've decided to really take my career into a different direction, of course, and I feel like I wanted to make sure that I had somebody with
I had a
me
separate team, the guys them who I grew up with and the guys them who was doing the music. With that came trying to clean up too. That's why it was always like a hush-hush thing. People saying, oh man, they ain't really sold no drugs. Oh, push ain't never.
That's crazy. What just happened in my video? I was just watching. Y'all see that? Like, I just disappeared. Hey, yo, what's up with YouTube, yo? That's crazy. I was just watching a different video, and oh, here we go. I'm like, I don't know. Today just been weird with my YouTube, for real.
Like to
I don't know
them,
why he's
they don't
doing
see
that.
that very often. So,
Sorry about
and
that.
At the
Sorry
same
for the
time,
technical
I
difficulties.
came back and tried to do this
My
thing
bad.
this whole thing on my own, because since I left my old label, I've decided to really take my career into a new and different direction, of course. And I feel like I wanted to make sure that I had somebody with me as far as a partner like Universal, who knows what they're doing, who will be able to take the product and distribute it worldwide.
Regardless, CP Records continued collecting W's, with their main star Belly dropping a new album with collabos with mainstream artists like Corrupt, Genuine, Mario Winans, and Fabulous. He even had Hulk Hogan in his music video as a cameo before we found out he was a raging racist.
Until we put out the official press release, but I did just sign a huge deal south of the border. Very major deal south of the border, but we're putting out a press release. You'll hear about it very soon.
It was almost like things were going too well for Belly and CP Records, and by 2008, the feds did a sweep. On Saturday morning, August 16, 2008, Ontario Provincial Police, or the OPP, and local Ottawa police raided Belly's home in the outskirts of the city of Ottawa. The authorities were looking for drugs and guns, but none were found on the premises. The cops, however, did cause over $300,000 worth of damages to Belly's home, causing Belly to react publicly on multiple platforms. From a CBC News article, Belly states, "I am so twisted up about the raid right now. I have so many mixed emotions about it. I get angry, I get sad, and then I get frustrated." Belly said to reporters as he showed the smashed glass, punctured wood, and gouged frames of the door to his studio and utility room. Every musician knows your studio is like a bubble for you. It's a personal space. This is where I work, where I create. It's crazy. I just feel like this is violation. Whatever the cops' intentions were, it didn't work. Matter of fact, it backfired on them, adding to Belly's lore and giving him free promotion, making him look like more of a gangster. However, this is also when Belly started to take his foot off the gas. By 2009, the music game had changed. Mixtapes were going to digital and music videos were migrating to YouTube. This was also around the time Drake really started taking off, when he signed to Lil Wayne's Young Money / Cash Money Records.
Right. Always gotta respect when you come to a city and somebody is like the highlight of their city. Like when their city is just nothing without them, you gotta step back and say, okay, that's that dude. That's that dude.
You're the only two you can't categorize like that. We international. You know what I mean?
This didn't stop the two Canadian heavyweights from collaborating, and in Drake's come-up, Belly blessed him with 3 collabos, including Make It Go on Belly's mixtape Back for the First Time, hosted by DJ Small Eyes.
Me and this dude right here, me and Drake, OVO.
I just smile and laugh, man. You're doing too good.
I do the punching, don't worry.
After that, things went kind of quiet for Belly and CP Records. 2010, 2011, things were still busy for Belly, Sal, and Cash behind the scenes though. Cash was moving around in America, working with artists and making moves. Sal sold CP Records to Live Nation to explore bigger ventures, and Belly was working hard writing, recording, and selling songs to artists behind the scenes as one of his hidden talents. See, what I didn't mention earlier is when CP Records was in full swing with pop stars like Masari and Danny Fernandez, that Belly was penning a lot of the pop songs for those artists.
A lot of people see me and they see the way I am and they're like, yo, how do you write R&B? You know what I mean? It's simple. I just be making concepts out of all the shit that girls tell me. So when a girl tells me...
Yeah, I write gospel, R&B, hip hop, you know what I'm saying? I can do it all. I even can write pop and probably rock. I never really tried rock, but pop, R&B, and of course I'm hip hop. So yeah, that's number one with me.
She want to be my private dancer? I go and turn that into a song.
I dare you to let me build you a completely free e-commerce store, preloaded with 20.
No, thank you.
All those years of writing would definitely pay off, and I'll explain that later when we get closer to the end of the story. The most pivotal moment came for the trio in 2011 while Cash was living in Miami. Hawk Marley, aka Hawk XO, was and is a close friend of The Weeknd, working with him on his very early music. He sent Cash some MP3s of The Weeknd's unreleased material that blew Cash's mind.
You know what it is, check it out, Weeknd. You don't know what's in store.
Cash, living in Miami at this point, decided to jump in his car and drive back to Toronto within 24 hours. This bold move led to a close partnership. with Cash co-managing The Weeknd and co-founding XO Records in 2012 alongside Abel and Sal, as well as the joint venture with Republic Records. The XO and XO Records stands for Ecstasy and Oxycodone, reflecting on the dynamic and aesthetic influences of The Weeknd's early music, which often explores themes of drug use, nightlife, and emotional intensity. The term was coined by The Weeknd himself. The label went on to sign Toronto duo 88 Glam and a young South Asian Canadian producer out of Rexdale named Nav. Belly himself co-wrote on The Weeknd's classic mixtape House of Balloons, including tracks like Loft Music and High for This. Belly also wrote on The Weeknd's Beauty Behind the Madness album, including songs.
Yeah, I like that House of Balloons shit. I got the double album on Weeknd. That's the first album I ever heard about The Weeknd. That shit is fire. I still rock that to this day.
Songs like Often, The Hills, Earned It, and more.
And there's, The Weeknd, but Abel and Ahmad.
Yeah.
No one, No one calls me that, by the way. Even my mother calls me Belly. But those. I think
So that was code for don't
important.
walk up to me and call me Ahmad in the street.
Yeah, please don't. Especially in the airport, please don't. I think that's what's more important. Like,
Yeah.
My friendship with him to me is more important than our working relationship. As much as we've accomplished and as much as we've done, I think that's the most important thing.
Belly had found a second win with his new XO team, and the collaborations behind the scenes and in front of the scenes continued. Belly started popping back out with features with the scorching hot Weeknd, and if his haters were mad before, they were gonna bury themselves after this. In 2014, all of Belly's hard work got him on the radar of Jay-Z and Rock Nation.
That project changed my life. Up for Days is what it came off of. That whole thing just changed my life.
And I hear that same project is the one that Jay-Z heard, where he wanted to sign you to Rock Nation.
Yeah.
Was that the same project?
Yeah.
Were you surprised when Jay-Z was like, "Yo, we want you"? Because that's Hove.
Yeah, that's Hove, exactly. Honestly, I don't think the reaction would have been as crazy for me if it was somebody else.
Yeah.
But I idolized Jay my whole life, So for him to even listen.
Yeah, Jay-Z is definitely one of my goats, right along with KRS-One. I got a couple of people. Know what I'm saying? I even show mad love and respect to Soulja Mischief because they was one of the most lyrical cats in West Coast. You know what I'm saying? They was so lyrical that niggas thought they was from the East Coast. Bell the Funky Homo Sapien and all them. Those are my people. A+ and all them. You know what I'm saying? I with them enough respect to them, for real.
To even give it a shot.
Right.
Let alone like it, let alone be have quotables that he liked from it. And I was just it's still mind-boggling to me. Hov was sitting across the table from me, about to mark my sheets and shit. So it was crazy that he chose those records. And then eventually, he reached out and was like, "Yo, I want to meet you." At that point, I was taking label meetings and shit, and I didn't really want to sign with nobody until the second project was out.
With Belly's gift for writing and his renewed authenticity in the representation of his Palestinian roots in his music, signing Belly to Rock Nation was a no-brainer. The leverage that Belly brought from XO Records and his ability to write hits behind the scenes made him a perfect signee. Belly even went on to write for Beyonce on the song 6 Inch on the award-winning Lemonade album.
So I also saw that you also co-wrote on Beyonce's album.
Yeah.
How was that? Did you guys actually get in the studio together?
Nah, she actually played it for me in the studio one day when it was when the vocals were laid down and stuff. That was actually the same day that I met Hov for the first time.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Belly had finally made it and was there with his day ones, Cash and Sal. Bigger award shows, Grammys, and millions in the bank, Belly was on top of the world. But even at this point, Belly couldn't avoid controversy. On his return to Canada, he was invited to perform on Canada Day 2017 for Canada's 150th anniversary. He graced the stage in downtown Toronto's Nathan's Phillips Square around 10 p.m. with his DJ screaming, "Make some motherfucking noise!" Belly then followed up with songs using even more profanities. Parents in attendance with their kids were appalled and began sending complaints immediately. The next morning, Belly was off.
Nah, that was crazy. If you know it's for Canada Day, that don't even sound like a hip-hop day. It seemed like they was going to let hip-hop represent Canada Day, not vice versa. Yeah, that was kind of in poor taste, Belly, my nigga. To do songs like that, talking about sex and all that fun little kids, come on, bro. Do better.
All over the news again for the wrong reasons, being denounced for his actions.
Welcome back this evening. The controversy surrounding a Canada 150 celebration is heating up tonight. Nathan Phillips Square was packed last night with people when one of the performers fired off a barrage of profanities. City Hall is now apologizing, but the rapper known as Belly is doubling down on his offensive behavior. Live to Sean O'Shea at City Hall. And Sean, a lot of developments on this story, including a pretty crass response.
Well, I was among the thousands of people here for a series of performances at Nathan Phillips Square this weekend for the Canada Day long weekend. Belly's performance was among them. He is getting some support, but he's getting lots of heat for his foul language on stage. As you said, the city has apologized, but as for Belly, he's got some harsh words for his critics that I can't repeat right here.
Wow.
Imagine being able to reach 15 million views on the first video of a new YouTube channel. You start at 0 subscribers. Imagine that video attracts 5 million views in its first month and a half and 12 million views in the first year of being released. And it just keeps going. Labels start reaching out with favorable offers, show promoters want to book you, feature collaborations you dreamed about fall into the palm of your hands.
I gotta keep forgetting to pay it. Oh my
It's
God,
a show
my
that
bad,
ended
y'all.
like this, but just before the sky lit up, a rapper's stage performance set off a different kind of fireworks.
Y'all been Belly since day one. Make some motherfucking noise. Yeah.
Ottawa's Belly, the Juno Award-winning rapper, had the attention of thousands here at Nathan Phillips Square.
Kids just repeat everything that they hear. So even if they don't, like these small ones, even if they don't understand what they're saying, they'll still keep repeating it.
If he's inside doing like a private show, that's fine. Like people expect it at that point. But when you're out in public doing that, like you should censor it yourself.
On Twitter, though, Belly isn't backing down. He got belligerent, blaming unhappy parents for bringing their kids out late, adding an unrepeatable suggestion about what those people should do if they didn't like it. Defending his show, saying that's the beauty of living somewhere with real freedoms.
Being in front of the scenes has its perks and problems. The Rock Nation signing and the new music had Belly moving around more than ever. It would be Coachella in April of 2018 where being outside goes wrong for Belly when he got jumped. Belly had performed a crazy show to a wild crowd earlier that evening, so he felt that the love was in the air.
I tell her bring it back and make her run again. I tell her bring it back and make her run again.
He was wrong. During the weekend's evening finale show, Belly, moving by himself, went to make his way to the backstage VIP area to get a better view of the show. As he tried to enter the area, security stopped him, stating that he didn't have the proper credentials.
Belly, the rapper who had performed earlier in the day at Coachella.
That was one of the best performances of his career.
Goes into the artists area, and he's allowed because he's an artist. Watch what happens to him.
An argument ensued and quickly escalated to 25 security guards jumping Belly and assaulting him, causing multiple injuries. Belly subsequently ended up suing Coachella, God Voice, and IPS Security for assault and battery, negligence, and emotional distress, citing several injuries and trauma from the incident. It is not disclosed whether Belly won the lawsuit, but I'm willing to bet it was an out-of-court settlement. At this point, Belly was a fully evolved artist and man. He is free to make music without expectations of high sales and has been speaking on the atrocities in Palestine before the recent times.
Which country is it that you're from?
Palestinian.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Naturally, there's a lot going on over there, but you must really be back home symbolizing a whole heap of hope for people, you know, with what's going on.
I hope so, man. I really hope so, because we need it, you know? And like, man, Palestinians, we some resilient people, man. You know what I mean? So, you know, I just feel proud to be able to be doing what I'm doing right now.
His one.
Damn, man. That's one thing about life. You know what I'm saying? You be trying to live right, do things right. Sometimes you always make the right decision. You know what I'm saying? None of us always do. We're not wired to make all the right decisions. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? He dealing with the he Palestinian, so you got to deal with that. You know all the stuff that be going over there, and genocides and stuff like that. But yeah, let's keep it going, yo. This is almost over, but I wanted to share this with y'all about a dude that was out before Drake. That Drake actually kind of did stuff with, but you don't really hear him talking about this dude no at all. Now I mean, I don't know how it's just weird over there. Because to me, it seems like they trying to. I don't know. I want to say emulate us a lot, but. You know what I'm saying? Because we all human beings, and it's a different culture over there. But they get hip hop on it from us. But it's like the way they move is like sometimes weird to me. You know what I'm saying?
Once use of the N-word has seemingly ended about one album after being signed to Roc Nation, and the only time he's probably using it is when he's laying references for your favorite rappers for their hits. Belly, Tony Sal, and Cash have come a long way and are definitely a blueprint that can be admired and followed. All three from war-torn countries and overcoming the odds to reach to the top of success.
We love hip hop.
That was dope. That was dope. That was a dope story. You know what I'm saying? I was having a couple of technical difficulties during this run. But I'm going to let it fly. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing this all over again. I'll just keep it the way it is. Yeah. Even hearing him just belly spit is like, yeah, he has skills. He definitely has skills, for real, for real. But anyway, hey, yo, check this out. Check out my merch. You know what I mean? Follow me. Like and subscribe. Check out the merch. T Public, Bonfire, Lyrical Design, BB and More Boutique. You know what I'm saying? Bonfire or T Public. You know what I mean? It's in the ticker at the bottom. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, I am KGV of Faith. You can go to my website, see the music, the podcast is everything at IamKGVoffaith.com. You know what I mean? You can follow me on TikTok or Facebook under KGV of Faith or Someone for the Music Words. Other than that, I'm out. Got to put these videos together to put up. Hey, yo, y'all have a blessed weekend. Thank you for dealing with my technical difficulties and everything else, my little profanity and everything. I'm working on that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not perfect, and I don't want to come off like I'm some perfect person and all that craziness, because I'm not. Hey, yo, do me one favor, y'all. Take care of each other, respect each other, love each other like it's your last days on the earth, because nobody never really knows when it's going to be their day. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm out. One.